Are you able to tell the aerosol clouds from the real God clouds? No. First thing, spend your alone time with God. It was exhilarating. And we were back to this passage where Simon Peter wanted to know about the Apostle John, whether he was going to be a martyr the way Peter was going to be. But the message here is that you are not responsible for what other people do. You just follow. Just keep your mind on your oneness and your partnership with God. Just follow. Regardless of what Joseph Moore does, and regardless of this, I still want Joseph Moore to realize that he is a great person, that he is a person of beauty and intelligence and attainment and fulfillment. I want him to realize that. And remember this, no matter what, Jesus calls us o'er the tumult of life's wild and restless sea. Day by day his sweet voice soundeth, saying, Christian, follow me. Glendora, chat with Glendora, and I'm happy to bring you this joyful news. And Jerry, we'll see you later. Maybe you'll tell me again about your next show.
Okay.
It'll be in a couple of weeks, will it?
Beautiful.
On the 12th of October, Columbus Day. All right?
October 2nd.
No. Yes, I know this one's October.
Oh, okay.
And the next one, will it be in a couple of weeks?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to get the information on that, too.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay,
Record. See the red button on your right?
Yeah, I did. I pressed that button right there.
Oh, okay. Or you can press the one on your right.
It says record.
Uh-huh. All right, now stop it. Oh, we just put in another hour on odious.
And I said, "Good, let it in, hold my breath." I said, "See, she lies too." I didn't tell her that. I said, "Well, that's between you and her." I said, "I'm only telling you that I stayed in my office that morning because she said you were calling me back." And I said, "I didn't call."
Methodist Church. Trinity Methodist Church. Hudson, New York. Well, actually, it's Greenport.
That must be.
That's Methodist food, and we're waiting for the Seventh-day Adventist food. And they carried away all their nice food. They carried it away to the meeting hall. Empty table. All the food is gone.
It's so basic, it's so inexpensive, it's so simple, it's been totally overlooked. Doing the things that the body needs to stay supple, exercise, stretching type, really keeps the body flexible. Anytime that someone represents an elderly person, they will move with a stiffness. So you stay.
You need water? No. It is me. Brought my measure. I'm not Dan, but I can get you something. Oh, thank you. Well, I have to stand up with you. I can stand up here. Okay, so I got the water in, and then the next thing is I already measured all my seasonings, and I stuck it in here, and I put in here, okay. In here I have the liquid. I have the liquid soy sauce that's, and the oil and the honey is what's in here. Okay, I'm gonna pour that in. I did it that way so that it's quicker. I made a batch this afternoon and then this. And every time I have it, I'm always surprised that I like it. It's funny. It's like, I don't think I like this. And then I always like it. I like it hot though. I don't think I like it cold.
What's that you just put in?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the seasonings. I had measured them all ahead of time because it's quicker. And so that's the Italian seasoning, the garlic powder, the sage, and the onion powder. Okay? I just measured that and put it in that little container. I'm going to turn this up a little bit to get this.
Can you use onions instead?
I guess you could. You know, I hadn't thought about that, but why not? It depends on if you want onions in your sausage. See, I'm not a sausage eater. I never was, and I didn't grow up a meat eater, so, and I never went for vegetarian sausage, so something like that.
Sometimes got to be chopped up fine though in the sausage.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I would use a sweet onion for sausage. A good one like a good onion or this one really good.
Is my basket in the way? Is that better? Better?
Yes, that's good.
That's good. Okay. All right. So, okay, now can you all see this?
No.
Okay. Ooh.
But you need to
But
step,
you
you need
step
to
in on it.
step on
That's okay, that's okay.
And all of us are like breathless.
Just moves every time you step on it.
Have it falling on me. No, I just won't step on it,
Yeah,
it's
it
fine.
won't fall on you.
Thank you. Okay, so,
It'll miss you.
all right, so we have everything in then, except, what?
The oats.
The oats, right, okay, and I measured them in here. So that's really easy, isn't it? Yeah, I just sort of put all the seasonings together. And then, I didn't like what it said 1 to 5 minutes. I thought, well, how will I know? But you do. You just sort of, if you cook, you know, you look at it and you say, all right, that looks good. You know, I didn't really have a problem with it. And then when I was baking it in the oven, I didn't have a problem knowing when it was done either. I took them out, I think after 10 minutes, and turned them over. And then I put them back, you know, back in the oven. And when they came out the second time, they were a little browner, so then I put the, you know, the first side in again for a few more minutes. So I just, you know, fooled around with them, and I was eating them when they came out of the oven and decided I liked them.
Marilyn, do you remember when you had absolutely no confidence about this? Now she's great. I know. This is the 6th class, you know.
No, this is good. You could sort of do what you want, and I wasn't too worried. And then, like, you know, remember Dan last week? He said to me, you should use something wooden. So I brought him 3 things to try to make him happy, and he didn't even come. I'll have to call him.
He'll be here next week.
I said, not Dan, which one do you want? But it's all right. I probably won't do all these, but then that's it. Then I just sort of patted them down and baked them in the oven. And like I said, when I turned them the first time, they weren't, you know, I thought they were all right, but they weren't really brown. When I turned it the second time and saw that they browned, and I turned it back, they were good. Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, what I like with them, I just want to tell you, when I
Oh, one
eat
other
them,
thing. What?
I just want to say, when I eat them, I like ketchup on them, but, you know, so I never really like, I'm a ketchup person. I think they taste good that way. Okay.
Okay. Our next recipe, if you want to follow along in your section 2, is the scrambled tofu. And we have Maud Celestin.
This one, all right. Oh, so here, I'll do this. Okay. But I gotta take it, carry that out. I gotta take that out of it when I get out there.
Food. And even when I was preparing it, I heard people say, oh, I love tofu, but it doesn't work for me. Well, let me tell you, when I first started eating tofu, it was the same thing. Nobody liked it at home. I didn't like it. But you have to work with tofu and find the taste that works for you. And so even though I have a recipe here, you're going to have to try and see what works best for you, okay? Scrambled tofu is what we're doing tonight. And right now, everyone loves scrambled tofu. It got to the point where my husband, I would make scrambled tofu and he would say, why didn't you save enough for me? So this is what we went from not liking tofu to, can I have some more? So hopefully will be one of those experiences. Okay, scrambled tofu, basically you're trying to reproduce a little bit what scrambled eggs would be like, okay? So I usually fry, some people like to use spray. I use, and what I did, use about 2 tablespoons, you could do less, 1.5.
Oil.
I use salad oil, which is soy oil. I've tried with olive oil. It's not quite the same thing, but you can try olive oil.
After a 10-hour sleep, she went bolting out the door the minute it was open at 7:15. And she went all over her 3-acre estate. No, I don't think she did. She just goes about 30 feet all around the house. Then she came to the door and pleaded to come in. And I said, no, you can't come in. I said, I don't want any kitty cats in here. This is my alone time with God. And she looked so worried. And I relented. And I opened this door to this kitty cat who has a perfect house. And she eats, she drinks her water, and she washes. And now she'll go to sleep for 2 or 3 hours. .com. 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 Back to the alone time with God. Counting the blessings of yesterday. That's fun. Put it first. This is a joke I told at the Seventh-day Adventist vegetarian cooking school. Oh, the scrambled tofu tasted so good. It tasted just like scrambled eggs, but it's so much better for you and no animal products. It was such a delight to see those recipes one after another, all vegetarian and no animal products, and see the people so healthy. And here's the joke that I told them.
Are you recording, or are you jamming? September 19th, 2005. The little boy is in back of the church, and he's looking at all the names on the wall. And the priest comes along, and the little boy says, what are all these names? And the priest said, those are the names of our people who died in the service. And he says, which service? 7:30, 8:30, 9:30? There you go. Very good. We have closing, and we are full crew. So we have them there. Arches are great. I don't drink oranges in the morning, and I don't disparage it, but I prefer to take 2. This is one of them I'm having tomorrow morning. I have 2 of these every morning. 2? I think it's good. 2. Maybe 2. And then the bananas and everything with all the potassium. But we talked about. How many of you think you get enough rest? I think I do. I don't know. I think I do. How many get between 7 and 8 hours sleep a night? I think I do. Yeah, I think I do. How many get 6 hours of sleep a night? I get 5. Nobody 5. 5. 4. Okay, 4. We go out. Okay, the less sleep you get, it's really important to know that your body needs the rest. We talk about brains, but your body also needs to have the rest. And we talked about aging, I think, in one of our classes, and how when you age, if something happens to a certain organ of your body, a week's vacation with a good friend did an alumni thing that was, we were up late too. We were up
And I told them our recipe, folks, the one that I've shown you so many times, a half a cup of raw oatmeal, a half a cup of cashews, a half a big can of pineapple juice, and a 4 bananas. And when I said that, everybody said, "Ooh, yeah, it is a great recipe." You see that fly? I don't know. I wanted to show you this. While I'm sitting on my book, I heard a plop on the paper, and I looked, and right before my eyes, I saw a spider die. I saw death come so quickly with a plop on my meditation book. Crumble topping, that was delicious. They want you to use wheat flour, unbleached flour, oats, sea salt, olive oil, a cup of juice, white grape juice, white with peaches, that was delicious. Breakfast barley was not so good on the taste, and that's been my experience before, but it's high on nutrition. They had a cream in there. What was it? No matter what you do for it, it's kind of hard to eat. Tofu yogurt parfait. Canola oil, lemon juice. Honey, I won't eat honey. That's an animal product. I will not eat it. It's not fair to the bees. They work so hard to gather that honey and make it, and then we come along and steal it. I won't have anything to do with that. Whole wheat biscuits. I pray to God for $23 million a year, and the first thing that I'll do with it is give it to the animals, stop the cruelty to animals, give it to the homeless, give it to the churches, find somebody to do a chat with Glendora, and find somebody to do the legal papers, and then buy myself a Seventh-day Adventist vegetarian cook. That's the scrambled tofu I told you about. And it is delicious. So again, what was this? This was the Vegetarian Cooking School, sponsored by the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Livingston. It was given at Trinity Methodist Church, and the room was overbooked. Somebody booked 2 events in the same room, and so the Methodists were over there eating a non-vegetarian potluck. And the Vegetarian Cooking School is sponsored by Seventh-day Adventist churches all over. They're very big on that. They have cooking schools. Every Seventh-day Adventist church or conference that I know has always had them. And their food is beyond description to you if you haven't had it. It is delectable, it is succulent, it is satisfying, And it just makes you feel so good because you know that you're eating salubriously. And nutrition-wise, you couldn't do better. We just made a banana pineapple shake. A half a cup of raw oats, a half a cup of cashews, 4 bananas, and a half a big can of pineapple juice. I think Dole's is better than Libby's, but Save-A-Lot doesn't carry Dole's. And here it is, a banana pineapple shake, nice and thick. Thick shake. And look at the poor public access producers like Andy Hersman, who's been on public access TV practically since it started. Well, folks, I sat down to write a very great legal paper. Let's get this off of close-up. And lo and behold, Gail Martin comes. And she wants to know how to operate her brand new Sony Mini DP cam just like mine. So I showed her how to do playback on a TV set. And then she wanted to talk to me about the aerosol clouds in the sky that are ruining our Earth. That's Carney.com. She saw the tape. And then Timothy Smith shows up with himself and 2 workers, and my goodness, is this quite conducive to writing a legal paper? I asked him to turn off the radio. Fine. You like my collection of Lincolns?
Oh yeah, looks good, yeah.
That's the 1980. 278,000 miles.
Wow.
Isn't it beautiful?
When I was a kid, I had a 74 Mark IV.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Here, 2x4s. And please, no videotaping.
This is my yard.
No,
Stop telling me what to do.
No videotaping.
Stop telling me what to do. This is my yard.
Yes, but no video.
We are going to the post office. Okie dokie. There's the great 1980 Lincoln.
Okay, now what's going on other than a new roof, which is very nice. There's Daniel. And I have to go away and leave my house open. That's not too good, is it? But he's got the wire going into the plug in my house, so he needs it open. All right, we're doing a legal paper. Providence, Rhode Island. The whole court violated the United States Code. It's going to be a good case. I'll read it to you. How's that? But first we have to get the in-mail at the 2 post offices. Isn't that nice, folks? We're getting a new roof. Isn't that nice? Or.com. She's scared. Where is she? Folks, we had a potluck church dinner last night, and I forgot to videotape it for you. And now I'll show you the food. This is a vegetarian hamburger, the best kind there is. It's fry pats, and the commercial variety is called Morningstar Farms Grillers. Folks, do you like it? Do you like our dumpster? We're getting a new roof. Isn't that fun? And it's going to be red. Here we're going to have a red roof. And my neighbor Timothy Smith, Lisa Smith's husband, is doing the roofing. And his son Jonathan and his friend, I don't know his friend's name. Now if I can get the owner of this property to dump, well, this dumpster is here, to dump some of this junk out of the garage, hey, that would be philosophic, wouldn't it? Okay, let me check the shot, and then I'm going to tell you about a report and recommendation. Do you know what that is in federal law? Well, not that you really have to know what it is, but a report and recommendation is something that a magistrate judge does. And when a United States District Judge, which is called an Article 3 judge, Article 3 of the Constitution of the United States, he has a teacher's helper called a magistrate, see? And the law is very clear on that, folks, that my complaint is, my lawsuit is not to be turned over to a magistrate without my consent in writing. Now, this is the United States Code, Title 28, Section 636. No magistrate touches my lawsuit without my consent in writing, and I will not give my consent in writing. Not now or later. Okay, I'll show you this report. It's amazing, you know. Here are these people supposedly with superior knowledge of the law, and yet they take advantage of pro ses who supposedly don't know the law. Well, hello, Miss.com. She's all set up by that too. Okay, here it is, report and recommendation. Now, I'm not even going to read this. So what do you do in a case like this? You get a 9 by 12 envelope and you write on the outside of it so everybody can see it in the court and between here and the court, between Albany and Providence, Rhode Island. In just a minute, I will go get you a copy of the envelope. See if the remote works. This is the 9 by 12 envelope, a copy of it. And to whom is it addressed? The wind just is not going to let you know. Ernest C. Torres, he's the Chief Judge, United States District Court, District of Rhode Island, Providence. Providence. What a misnamed place. And it says, Glendora is returning to you. This is the way they always talk to us people. The court is returning to you. Glendora is returning to you the paper she received on September the 17th from a magistrate because the paper violates the United States Code. Here's a judge and a magistrate, and they violate the United States Code. Things are getting pretty bad, aren't they? No magistrate is to touch Glendora's lawsuit without her consent in writing. She has not and will not give her consent in writing. Magistrate's paper is a nullity. Magistrate's paper is a nullity. Do you hear, Rhode Island Court? Whatever clerk or whatever district judge gave Glendora's complaint to this magistrate is in violation of Title 28, United States Code, Section 636. This is actionable, and the paper is being returned unread, period. Okay, folks, I think that takes care of that matter. Now, herein is Glendora's motion, notice of motion, motion and affirmation in support for default judgment pursuant to the United States Code, pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 55. All defendants are in default, excepting lead defendants, David Rockefeller Bank, David Jackson, and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. Said defendants returned Glendora's $100 to her. Defendants were served the complaint pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 4B, Rule 4D, as in dog, on the 19th of May, 2005, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. Accepting Rockefeller through Chase, defendants have failed to defend and have failed to appear. Glendora is entitled to all of the relief stated in the wherefore of her complaint. Return date for this motion is 2 weeks, October the 7th, 2005, and service of this paper as to this court's violation of the United States Code and as to this motion in default has been made on all defendants by United States First Class Mail on September the 21st, 2005. Remember that lawyers are not licensed by the state. Yours in truth and in Amor Patria, Glendora, 48 TV stations, and www.chatwithglendora.com. Copies went to Chief Judge Bodine. He's the Chief Judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit, which should oversee the Providence District Court. And most of the courts in, they're in Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. That's it. Connecticut is in the Second Circuit. And a copy to great American hero George McDermott, candidate for Congress of the United States, and the Center for Judicial Accountability Incorporated, and it's Opus 1320, and it took 4 hours and $9. And down at the corner it says what? Without prejudice. Article 1, 207, Uniform Commercial Code. You want to know what that is? Very quickly, it protects my common law rights. Someday I'll give you what I know on the common law and why I want to be protected by the common law, which judges are corroding and eroding as fast as they can, and they're not going to get away with it. Okay. So, here's some comic relief. The lady said to the cab driver, "Cabby, can you back up a few miles?" And he said, "Why?" And she says, "I don't have enough money to pay for this." And the father said to his son, "I don't want to hear you say again, just because we have a crack in the basement wall, I don't want you telling people that you come from a broken home." Those were last week's jokes. Marilyn is not so smart because she thinks that Gatorade is welfare for crocodiles. And the lady, little old lady, said to the travel agent who was on the phone, "How long does it take to fly to Buffalo?" And the travel agent says, "Just a minute." And the little old lady says, "That's terrific. Last time it took 40 minutes. And Edwina said to her husband, "We'll have to move into a more expensive apartment." And she got what she wanted. The landlord raised the rent. Now you know about the Italian couple who had twins, a boy and a girl, and they gave Uncle Giuseppe the honor of naming the twins. And he named the girl Denise, and he named the nephew the nephew. Now, why is the average age of a policeman 37? They want to get them when they're fresh out of high school. And the nervous father in the maternity ward said to another man in the maternity ward, "Here, have a cigar." And the other man says, "Oh, is it a boy or a girl?" And the nervous father says, "I don't know one cigar from another." I had these all written down on a card, but with all of the madness with the Cablevision renewals, The card is underneath about 100 other cards. There goes a load of cow manure. Please God, stop the cruelty to animals. All present blessings continue. The man at the nursery, the lady customer said, "Do these seeds grow fast?" And the nursery clerk says, "Yeah. When you pop them in the ground, jump back." Okay. Too bad these were all organized for you and written out. Have you heard about the gardener's exercise plan, folks? You start out fresh as a daisy and you end up bushed. Guess what? We got a blue sky today and no aerosol clouds. Have you watched those jets who are exuding 4 streaks of nasty, harmful, dangerous chemicals and making those aerosol clouds? And they think you won't know the difference. They think you won't know the difference between an aerosol cloud and a God-made cloud. Well, Gail Martin watched the Carnicom tape on that, and she has become a great supporter of eliminating these aerosol clouds, which are lethal to human beings. One more. I like this one very much, folks. The Maine farmer was sitting in his kitchen and he had company. And you know, down Maine, when you visit somebody, you don't go in the front door. Nobody ever uses the front door. You come in through the kitchen door. And the people are all standing around. And finally one of them gets up enough courage to say, "It seems you don't have enough chairs." And the Maine farmer says, "Ain't ya? Plenty of chairs. It's just too much company." Okay. You remember, folks, when kids used to dress up in a ridiculous fashion and go to a masquerade party? Now they go to school. Now you, Emily, out in Melville, I think you're playing a smart, wise guy trick, okay? I sent you one happy book, and it came back. And so I sent you another one, and it came back. So stop playing games. Give your address and your telephone number. And I think I have a letter here for you, for Mary Ramage. And Mary Ramage, I have good news for you. I announced in church that if anybody would buy your 2 baby blankets that you crocheted, one the lavender and white and one the mint green and white, if they would buy them for $25, that I would match the $25 and give it to the church. And last night, Bonnie Dunham didn't have change, so she gave you $30 for your blanket, Mary Ramage, in Yorktown, Mohegan Lake. She gave you $30. So I'll be sending that to you very shortly, and then I'll give $30 to the church. And then Jane Dean said that she would buy the other one, the mint and green one and white one. This is Mary Ramage's church in Verplank. And you, little Cly, are on your way to flying. Okay, if you want a Glendora Happy book, here are the instructions. Call up, leave your number and your name, and speak very distinctly as if you were a fresh graduate from an elocution class. And I'm sorry, folks, that I'm behind in the happy books. Mr. Driscoll, I'll get out your happy book. I've got to wade through these odious Cablevision renewals. And that screwball Cablevision, they all ought to be locked up and put in jail. They won't talk to the public access producer. So how do I know? If I had made one call, I could find out what's going on in Harrison, what's going on in Yorktown, what's going on in Peekskill, Ossining, what's going on in Yonkers, what's going on in Wappingers, New Rochelle, Pelham. But no, they make me call my signers, and my signers don't know what's going on because they don't call the signers and tell them. The most odious company there is. They all belong in jail. That's Cablevision. And I believe that we're coming up to another report on odious Cablevision next. Filed. This is the case that's being filed in the District Court of Nassau County. Now this is state court. It's almost equivalent to municipal courts, except they don't have municipal courts out there. They have district courts. And this case is Glendora versus Diane Bennett and Alyssa Amato. And their address is Cablevision, One Media Crossways, Woodbury, New York. They had to come in out of the sun. That's too bad, but if you're facing the sun, there's too much light, and then if you're away from the sun, there's too much shadow. So, Bennett damaged Glendora TV audience to 4/5 of what it was. Bennett plummeted A Chat with Glendora from 10 p.m. Fridays to 4 p.m. Fridays. By the Nielsen ratings in the New York metro market, 5 times as many people watch the 10 p.m. TV as do the 4 p.m. TV. Bennett, this is Diane Bennett and Alyssa Amato, reduced the substantial or substantive value of A Chat with Glendora by 4/5. Now, what is the substantive value of A Chat with Glendora? You see, in small claims court, folks, it's a lot like the common law. In small claims court, everything is substantive. What does that mean? It means money. You can't go to small claims court and say, Diane Bennett violated my first come, first served rights. Because small claims doesn't rule on anything but money. Money damages. Now, the blank VHS costs $1, and to mail it costs $1.43, and to drive it to the post office costs $4.65. The wrapper is 42 cents. The office heat, electricity, inter alia is 50 cents, and that comes out to $8. Now $8 every week for 26 weeks, which is a Bennett time period. He does these things for 26 weeks, for which he has no statutory authority. This total is $208 for 26 weeks. Now it takes 1 hour to videotape the show, folks. It takes 1 hour to put on the titles, the graphics on the screen. And it takes an hour to make a dub, and it takes an hour to wrap, address, and post. This equals 4 hours a week times how many weeks? That's right, 26 weeks. And that comes out to 104 hours. Now Glendora charges $100 per hour for her expertise and experience of 54 years in broadcast TV and 33 years in cable TV and 16 years in the courts, municipal, state, and federal, protecting public access TV rights. That's worth $100 an hour and a whole lot more. In this case, I'll charge $100 an hour. I usually charge $300. Add to this $100 per hour the use of her $430 Sony Mini DV Cam recorder, her titler, her monitor, her connectors. Add to this $100 per hour that it is Glendora who gets the information, who videotapes it, and who presents it. Glendora is the producer, the director, and the talent. So 4 hours a week at $100 per hour is equal to $10,400. In the Bennett 26-week time period of no statutory authority. So the total value is $208 plus $10,400, and that comes out to $10,608. That's how much Diane Bennett and Alyssa Amato damaged Glendora. Now this is Glendora's ad dominum. The ad dominum is how much you are damaged, of which the maximum reclaimable in the Nassau County District Court, the maximum reclaimable in a district court is $5,000. So it's about half of what I really should get. Now Glendora's statutory authority is public access is to be administered on a first come, first served basis. Glendora first came to Bennett in 1993 and was first served 10 p.m. Fridays. 1993. That's 12 years ago. The statutes are the municipal franchises. Cablevision has to get a franchise from every municipality in order to have permission to run its cables along your right-of-way. The right-of-way belongs to you, the public. And Cablevision has to pay for that. It used to be 3% of their total income, and now it's 5%. Now I don't know what's going on now, how they've cheated municipalities lately. And we're doing the statutory authority. So first was the municipal franchisors, and then Title IX of the New York Code Rules and Regulations, Section 595.4, which they changed all around to confuse us, but we're sticking with the old one. And New York State Public Service Law, Article 11, Section 229. And Title 47, the United States Code, 521 et sequitur. Now Bennett and Amato think that the law says first come, first serve, every 26 weeks. Well, it does not say that. The law says first come, first serve, period. 10 p.m. Fridays is Glendora's time slot, so long as she wants it. I'll be right back. We got the cough-ups and the blowouts. Further, Bennett violated New York statutes by running a lottery to drop Glendora's time slot from 10 p.m. to 4 p.m., thus damaging the value of Glendora's show by 4/5. Under penalty of perjury, Glendora asseverates that she has told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help her God. And this is a verified complaint. Signed, Glendora, September 17, 2005, Anno Domini, which means in the year of our Lord. This lawsuit, I hope, is being filed today in Hempstead, County of Nassau, State of New York, in the District Court. State District Court, not federal. And Jim and Kelly Burness said they would try to file it today. It cost $20. Why are Bob and Joan the perfect couple? He's a pill and she's a hypochondriac. Other legal papers pending this week, folks. There were 10 altogether. 9, one came in yesterday. Is Adelphia, the Adelphia bankruptcy. You know, Adelphia cable TV systems. They went bankrupt. I explained that to you. Mr. Regas and his son are now in jail. I'm going to write a Rule 60B motion for relief from the bankruptcy judge's order. I don't like it. It violates your rights. And I'm also going to oppose their motion about wanting more time to rule on the cases that they robbed from state court. My case was filed in state court, and the feds come along and rob it and take it to federal court. Article 47, the United States Code 521 et sequitur. Now Bennett and Amato think that the law says first come, first serve, every 26 weeks. Well, it does not say that. The law says first come, first serve, period. 10 p.m. Fridays is Glendora's time slot, so long as she wants it. I'll be right back. We got the cough-ups and the blowouts. Further, Bennett violated New York statutes by running a lottery to drop Glendora's time slot from 10 p.m. to 4 p.m., thus damaging the value of Glendora's show by 4/5. Under penalty of perjury, Glendora asseverates that she has told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help her God. And this is a verified complaint. Signed, Glendora, September 17, 2005, Anno Domini, which means in the year of our Lord. This lawsuit, I hope, is being filed today in Hempstead, County of Nassau, State of New York, in the District Court. State District Court, not federal. And Jim and Kelly Burness said they would try to file it today. It cost $20. Why are Bob and Joan the perfect couple? He's a pill and she's a hypochondriac. Other legal papers pending this week, folks. There were 10 altogether. 9, one came in yesterday. Is the Adelphia bankruptcy. You know, the Adelphia cable TV systems. They went bankrupt. I explained that to you. Mr. Regus and his son are now in jail. I'm going to write a Rule 60B motion for relief from the bankruptcy judge's order. I don't like it. It violates your rights. And I'm also going to oppose their motion about wanting more time to rule on the cases that they robbed from state court. My case was filed in state court, and the feds come along and rob it and take it to federal court, where they can pamper their buddies. I have to perfect the appeal for Glendora versus Deborah Eacock in the Phillipstown Court, County of Putnam, State of New York. It's now in the appellate term. I have to collect $5,020 from Cablevision's Cecilia Masterilli in Peekskill. I want to write Omnibus 27, where we are suing a whole bunch of new people who violate Americana, judges and clerks, and certainly the Public Service Commission, and certainly Cablevision. I want to tell the Hudson Court that they have violated my right. They were told by the Superior Court, the appeals court in the County of Columbia, State of New York, to file Glendora's notice of claim. And they haven't done that. I want to sue Christine Savarino, Tabat Salako, and Police Officer Lewis of the Peekskill Police and Jill DeCrenza for their breaches and law breaking as to a chat with Glendora on the Peekskill system. U.S. West, I'm a creditor in that, well, all right, I'm a participant in that class action, and we're getting money back. Us shareholders are getting money back. We shareholders are getting money back. And Henry, excuse me, and Henry Harold Williams has caught on to the fact that these jet planes, way up high, are exuding 4 streams of chemicals. Dangerous, health-destroying chemicals. And if you don't feel as well as you used to, there's a good reason. That's carnicom.com. Carnicom, CARNICOM.com explores that. And he has an hour and 40-minute videotape on it. So I want to read you that. And also I want to discuss with you that Anthony Russo in Wallkill is gone. So far as I know, I have to call up and find out the latest on that. He did not appear for sentencing. He should never have been sentenced in the first place. It was the police officers who should be sentenced. And those are the, oh, and then another one came in from Judge Bodine, who's the chief judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit in Boston. The judge who was nutsy enough to say that Glendora, an incarcerated litigant, Glendora is not incarcerated, and she's never been incarcerated. So he's in deep trouble. Defamation. Now Jerry Yates in Peekskill does a good thing for the kids. These rock bands, and he's having a festival of rock bands. Probably gets to you too late, but it's October 2nd. And he'll have some more, and I'll try to give you the dates of that. But he's going to be the signer for a chat with Glendora in Peekskill. And all of the papers have been sent to him, and all he had to do was to sign them and send them in. And their specialty envelope. Cablevision specialty envelope. And So in order to get that announcement on A Chat with Glendora to be played on this Saturday, September the 24th, I had to send A Chat with Glendora VHS tapes overnight. One cost $17 for overnight, and then because it took so long to make out the forms at the Valatia post office, and I went to the end of the line because it wasn't polite to go in front of the other people, even though that was my position. And by the time I got up to the clerk again, it was 5 after 5, and so I lost the overnight on that one. It had to take 2 days just because of that 5 minutes. Isn't that funny? And so that one cost $14 to go to Wappingers, and it cost $14 to go to the Yorktown system so that they would be announced on September 24th for October 2nd. Now that's Cablevision for you, okay? Public access, as you know, is all voluntary. So as I started to say, public access is all voluntary. You can't make any money in public access, that's not allowed. But you just spend money, that's it. So I spent over $200 on Cablevision and A Chat with Glendora Tuesday in the post office. I want to tell you about this cough up and this blowout. You have to give the body credit, because those viruses go in there and they're out to eat you alive. Yeah. It's a dumb thing for a parasite to do, to eat the host alive. What are you going to eat after the host is eaten? But the body says, no, I'm going to exude this viscous fluid, and I'm going to ensnare all you viruses, you virulent, vicious viruses. I'm going to expel you through the nose and the mouth. And this body, you got to give it credit. It's working very hard to do this. There goes a load of cow manure. Please, God, stop the cruelty to animals. All present blessings continue. Amen. And this cold I got because I wanted to help Jane Dean go to Washington, D.C. to see her brother. And she didn't want to drive alone. So I went with her. And getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning because she wanted to leave at 5 o'clock was pretty bad. And then I had to take the train Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, Amtrak, so I had to get up at 4 o'clock for that. And it was just too much. Do you know about the Chinese telephone book? The Chinese telephone book is not going to be published anymore. There's too many wings and too many wongs. And everybody is winging the wrong number. Now, do all of these challenges to keep Cablevision from ruining public access, does it make us unhappy? No, it does not. Why? Well, it makes us happy because we are honored that we've been called to stand up for such a noble thing as the public's right, the public's access to television. It's a great institution. And we are very happy to defend it. And we are very happy because we have our notebook and our pen. And every morning, the first thing, we put it first, our alone time with God. And we read the Bible. And I use our daily bread as a devotional. And there's many, many others, and they're all very, very good. I saw on the Methodist table that they're charging $1.50 for the upper room. This one is free, but I send them donations. That's a radio Bible class. And the reading is Hebrews 12. And It says here that the people begged that the word should not be spoken. That the word should not be spoken to them anymore. Well, people do that because they want to go on in their self-burning ways, and they don't want to preserve themselves and be happy. They'd rather be unhappy than change. But we're going to stay with the living God. We're not going to have a dying life. We're going to stay with the living God. And to the spirits of just people made perfect. And that's what we're going to work on. Another quote that's pretty good is, the marvelous experience that takes place when you realize your oneness with God. Our old sin nature no longer rebels against the Holy Spirit, nor human spirit, and is perfectly holy and at peace with God. That's a great thing. And that's what you get when you have your alone time with God. And Herb Vanderlook tells about going to a little tiny church where there were only 15 people, and yet they sang so enthusiastically, and they prayed so happily. And you want to know why? Because when you pray, the whole house, and only if there's 2 people praying, or there's only 10 or 20 or 30 or 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 people at church, you got the whole host of heaven praying with you. And what is our song? Breathe on them, breath of God, fill them with life anew, that they may love as thou dost love, and do what thou wouldst do. That prayer is for you, Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation, James L. Dolan, Mac Budill, Thomas Garger, Diane Bennett, Alyssa Amato, Christine Savarino, and Cecilia Masterilli. Amen. Now, Jerry Yates in Peekskill does a good thing for the kids. These rock bands, and he's having a festival of rock bands. Probably gets to you too late, but it's October 2nd. And he'll have some more, and I'll try to give you the dates of that. But he's going to be the signer for a chat with Glendora in Peekskill. And all of the papers have been sent to him, and all he had to do was to sign them and send them in. And they're specialty envelope. Cablevision specialty envelope. And so in order to get that announcement on a chat with Glendora to be played on this Saturday, September the 24th, I had to send a chat with Glendora VHS tapes overnight. One costs $17 for overnight, and then because it took so long to make out the forms at the Valatia post office, and I went to the end of the line because it wasn't polite to go in front of the other people, even though that's was my position. And by the time I got up to the clerk again, it was 5 after 5, and so I lost the overnight on that one. It had to take 2 days just because of that 5 minutes. Isn't that funny? And so that one cost $14 to go to Wappingers, and it cost $14 to go to the Yorktown system so that they would be announced on September 24th for October 2nd. Now that's Cablevision for you, okay? Public access, as you know, is all voluntary. So as I started to say, public access is all voluntary. You can't make any money in public access. That's not allowed. But you just spend money. That's it. So I spent over $200 on Cablevision and a chat with Glendora Tuesday in the post office. I want to tell you about this cough up and this blowout. You have to give the body credit, because those viruses go in there and they're out to eat you alive. Yeah. It's a dumb thing for a parasite to do, to eat the host alive. What are you going to eat after the host is eaten? But the body says, no, I am going to exude this viscous fluid, and I'm going to ensnare all you viruses, you virulent, vicious viruses. I'm going to expel you through the nose and the mouth. And this body, you got to give it credit. It's working very hard to do this. There goes a load of cow manure. Please, God, stop the cruelty to animals. All present blessings continue. Amen. And this cold I got because I wanted to help Jane Dean go to Washington, D.C. to see her brother. And she didn't want to drive alone. So I went with her. And getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning because she wanted to leave at 5 o'clock was pretty bad. And then I had to take the train Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, Amtrak, so I had to get up at 4 o'clock for that. And it was just too much. Do you know about the Chinese telephone book? The Chinese telephone book is not going to be published anymore. There's too many wings and too many wongs. And everybody is winging the wrong number. Now, do all of these challenges to keep Cablevision from ruining public access, does it make us unhappy? No, it does not. Why? Well, it makes us happy because we are honored that we've been called to stand up for such a noble thing as the public's right, the public's access to television. It's a great institution. And we are very happy to defend it. And we are very happy because we have our notebook and our pen. And every morning, the first thing, we put it first, our own time with God. And we read the Bible. And I use our daily bread as a devotional. And there's many, many others, and they're all very, very good. I saw on the Methodist table that they're charging $1.50 for the upper room. This one is free, but I send them donations. It's a radio Bible class. And the reading is Hebrews 12. And it says here that the people begged that the word should not be spoken. that the word should not be spoken to them anymore. Well, people do that because they want to go on in their self-burning ways, and they don't want to preserve themselves and be happy. They'd rather be unhappy than change. But we're going to stay with the living God. We're not going to have a dying life. We're going to stay with the living God. And to the spirits of just people made perfect. And that's what we're going to work on. Another quote that's pretty good is, the marvelous experience that takes place when you realize your oneness with God. Our old sin nature no longer rebels against the Holy Spirit, nor human spirit, and is perfectly holy and at peace with God. That's a great thing. And that's what you get when you have your alone time with God. And Herb Vanderlook tells about going to a little tiny church where there were only 15 people, and yet they sang so enthusiastically, and they prayed so happily. And you want to know why? Because when you pray, the whole host of heaven prays with you. And only if there's 2 people praying, or there's only 10 or 20 or 30 or 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 people at church, you got the whole host of heaven praying with you. And what is our song? Breathe on them, breath of God, fill them with life anew, that they may love as thou dost love, and do what thou wouldst do. That prayer is for you, Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation, James L. Dolan, Mac Budill, Thomas Garger, Diane Bennett, Alyssa Amato, Christine Savarino, and Cecilia Mastrovilli. Amen. Do these waters look out for Regus? This is what it looks like. Simply call the number that you see on the screen, 914-949-9495, and leave your telephone number and your name, and I will call you and get the address. So I get a call from Kelly Bernass, and they have received a letter from the Public Service Commission, and they have done a brilliant job. The Public Service Commission is digging itself more and more deeply into a hole that they really can't get out of, and we're going to get them in the end and get some reform here in the state of New York. Remember that every time you buy something, you tithe to the state of New York. I buy this camcorder for $400, and I have to pay the state of New York $30. Is that right? And what do we get from the Public Service Commission? Stupidity, sellout, abomination, abhorrence. Is there such a word as abhorrence? And so I get a call from Kelly, and they have got a letter from the Public Service Commission, and the Public Service Commission wants them to do an Article 78 action against them. Well, no way. For instance, in an Article 78 action, do you know what that is, folks? That's the New York State statute, civil practice laws and rules. It's a statute that you bring against an agency of the state of New York. Don't you anyway ever fall for that. It doesn't have any teeth to it. What you want is a complaint. Because in an Article 78 action, you cannot ask for damages. So you just go and file a complaint. They're trying to pull the polyester as ever over people's eyes. And here these people, lawyers and the Public Service Commission and Flynn and all of his gang of gangsters, they're supposed to have superior knowledge as to the law, and they're not supposed to take advantage of pro se's. You and me, for instance. Yeah, and what do we have? For the 10% we have to pay the state of New York for everything that we buy. James Bernass and Kelly Bernass and I have a partnership going here. And I must say that Kelly and Jim have done a superlative job, a better job than I am of getting this camera lined up, a superlative job in working the Public Service Commission into a whole and exposing what they really are.
Oh, perfect, thanks. So Kelly says you heard from the Public Service Commission.
Yeah.
All right, what do they want, James?
They want us to file a section 78.
No, Article 78. Yeah, well, you're just not going to do that. Because in Article 78, you cannot get damages. Just file a regular lawsuit and sue them for $83 million.
Yeah.
I do. Wait just a second, please, Jim.
I don't know if you can hear this. Let me see.
Okie doke, I'm ready.
I am ready.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the first one is to Judge Spass. And it reads, Dear Judge Spass.
Okay, I'd like to know the name of the person who wrote it first.
Okay, this is the Sean Mullaney, Assistant Counsel.
S-E-A-N?
S-E-A-N. Last name is M-U-L-L-A-N.
2 L's?
Yes.
L-L-A-N-E-Y?
No. L-L-A-N-Y.
Assistant Counsel. Gee, Jim, I'm so proud of you. Boy, I'm proud of you. You really did it. Go, dog, go.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, the plaintiff in the above caption case has sent you, this is to Judge Spass.
Yes.
The plaintiff in the above caption case
That would be Kelly Bernass.
the correspondence between herself and the Public Service Commission on the basis of which she alleges that the Commission lacks jurisdiction to issue its decision approving Cablevision's implementation of the first come, first served regulation. Attached is the Commission's reply to Ms. Burnet's August 20th, 2005 letter. Because the regulation 16 NYCRR 895.4 spans parentheses C and then a 4 in parentheses is within the Commission's regulatory preview. The Commission has jurisdiction to interpret it. If Ms. Burnett seeks to challenge the Commission's recent decision, she should do so by filing an Article 78 proceeding in State Supreme Court, Albany County, rather than sending letters to this court.
Huh?
things here rather than sending letters to this court. Since when are they a court?
What'd you say? I had to talk to my neighbor Mary about the chemtrails that the jet planes are exuding from the sky, ruining your health. So we're back with the Public Service Commission and Jim Burness.
Can you be again, please? Are they a court? Who? The Public Service Commission.
No, he's saying is rather than sending them to Judge Spath's court.
Oh, I see. Okay, I understand that. Okay. Now, this 16 NYCRR 895.4, that was just recently changed.
Oh, yeah.
Months ago.
Yeah. So, go get it, okay? Go to the library and get a copy of it.
I do. I have it.
You do have it?
Yes, the same as the old one.
I wish it were, but I think they made changes against us. All right.
Okay, now I got the, hold on. Okay, now, the other letter that they sent to Kelly. Now, these both came together. Read here, dear Miss Burnett, the letter of August 19th.
Who wrote it, please?
Okay, this is your friend, Jonathan D. Weinberg.
Okay, the sleeves, okay. The sleeves.
The solicitor. That's what he puts down. He doesn't put that down with him.
What'd you say?
He writes solicitor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, dear Miss Burnett, your letter of August 19, 2005 to Chairman Flynn has been referred to the Office of General Counsel for an answer.
Sure.
As mentioned in our August 8, 2005 letter to you before issuing an order, the Commissioner considered your allegations that Cablevision, in administering its public access cable.
If the Commissioner considered it, why didn't the Commissioner answer it? And why is the Commissioner hiding behind Slee's Jonathan D. Feinberg?
Operating a lottery and is as a result in violation of the law. The Commission was not persuaded by your argument and disagreed with your conclusion. Cablevision is not operating a lottery.
Oh, baloney!
And therefore is not in violation of...
And what are your grounds, Mr. Flynn? What are your grounds? Prove your statement. Expatiate. Who said? Where's his authority to say that? That's up to the law.
Of the law.
Who said? Where's his authority to say that? That's up to the lottery division, whether they're operating a lottery or not. It's not his call.
Okay, you dispute the Commission's authority to consider your claim, but the Commission has primary jurisdiction to construe its first-come, first-served regulation.
Who says?
With respect to use of a public access channel, cable channel.
Yeah, why doesn't he get a couple of public access channels in there instead of a public access?
The Office of Consumer Services, in parentheses OCS, mistakenly referred your inquiry about a lottery to the division of the lottery. OCS should have referred you to the Commission's primary, okay, wait a minute, OCS should have referred you to the cable section of the Office of Telecommunications.
You see that, folks? They admit one stupid. They got about 10 more to admit.
However,
Wait a second. Should have referred you to the Office of what? The cable office.
Office of Telecommunications.
Where? In the Public Service Commission?
Yeah.
So they admitted that they made it stupid,
Commission's primary jurisdiction to construe its regulations. Contrary to the claims in your letter, the Commission did not give Cablevision carte blanche, but concluded that Cablevision was using one of the permissible methods for implementing the first come, first served requirement.
Oh, yeah? Well, where is this written? Where is this written? What are the permissible? Okay.
The mission regulations of Cablevision's administration of the public access channel does not make Cablevision a state actor.
Who said?
I dispute that, folks. I dispute that. Okay? That's mere dictum. There's no law. They can cite another bad decision by a bad judge, but that's not law. Cablevision is a state actor because you can see right in front of your eyes that Cablevision is being regulated, quote unquote, by the state, by the Public Service Commission.
Okay, go ahead. Who said that?
You have raised the issues in your letter in a lawsuit currently pending before Judge Pratt in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York, in which the Commission is not a party. The appropriate form for any challenge to the Commission's decision is a proceeding brought pursuant to Article 78 of the New York Civil Practice Law and Rules and filed in Albany County Supreme Court.
No, not filed in Albany. Probably even if you were to do a 78, you would file it in Suffolk County Supreme Court.
Well, and here's the thing about that. I went to the library, and we read up on that, and they said in some cases that the agency, that you have to file against the agency in Albany County.
Who said, honey? You got to read it to me. I don't believe it.
Okay, well,
Okay, folks, I'm going to sit down. I'm getting too tired holding this. And I'll tell you what he said. I wanted it up close so you could hear it. The Sony audio tape recorder doesn't have the pickup that the Olympus does.
I can file an Article 78 right here in Gibson and Columbia County. No, you do not have to file it in Albany County. And another thing. Okay, go ahead. Are you through?
Yes.
And how is it signed?
Okay, that is...
How is it signed? Yours truly, or I'm lying through my teeth, or?
How is it signed? Yours truly, or I'm lying through my teeth?
That's on very truly yours, Jonathan D. Feinberg.
First of all, you know that Jonathan D. Feinberg is a defendant in at least one Glendora federal lawsuit. Just a second, folks.
Oh, boy. Oh, have you got them? They are acting so badly. Oh, you really got them.
He does. Kelly and Jim Burness have done, and Glendora too, in on it. We've done a terrific job of getting them into a hole, and they just dig themselves in more and more deeply.
Great, huh? They're inviting you to have a lawsuit against them.
Yes, yes. Now, I wonder about this, and I'm thinking to myself,
Did he send a copy to anybody?
oh yeah, he's sent a copy to a lot of people.
Is it the same list as before?
Yes.
See, what they're trying to do is...
And that list, of course, was the town of Oyster Bay, the town of North Hampstead, the town of Manhasset, is it? Anyway, to all of the towns, because they're trying to tell all the other towns that this is going to be their law for the whole of Nassau County.
their correspondence with you to refute or to establish their position with all of the other towns.
Absolutely.
And they're trying to do that with you, which is more sleaze, don't you think?
Yes, sure.
And it's okay. And did he add anything to the list that he had before?
Okay, yes. Now, 10 people.
Yeah, okay. So you see, he's putting up a track. So aren't you was making the point that isn't Jim glad that when he wrote back to the Public Service Commission last time that he sent copies to all of the people that they sent copies to.
Matt, he added, Philip Gamma, Wilson over County General, because I sent the copy to the Attorney General. Yeah, that's good. Is Philip with one L or two? Brother? Philip, one L or two? Philip. And
Gamma.
G-A-M-A?
MMA.
Gamma. Okay. And that's in Spitzer's office. Yeah.
That's in Spitzer's office.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think that's the gist of it, all right? So, Jim Bernath is, and Kelly are on the brink of filing in our behalf a civil action against the Public Service Commission, more accurately called the Public Disservice Commission. And it will not be an Article 78 action, and it will not be filed in Albany County. It will be filed in the Supreme Court, County of Suffolk, State of New York. And it will be a complaint, and it will be a summons. In state court, you have to file a summons with a complaint. In federal court, you file the complaint and then the summons comes later. The court helps you do that in federal court, but not in state court. Is there anything more to be said about that? And simultaneously, we are filing Glendora versus Diane Bennett and Alyssa Amato in the State District Court for the County of Nassau. Please call for a Glendora Happy Book. Leave your telephone number and your name and pronounce every syllable. I have a new series of programs to play for you, made by a public access producer in Meriden, Connecticut. And my friend Albert LeBrun, who is an expert by horrible experience in the lack of justice in the state of Connecticut. So is Ethan Book Jr. But we have new videos, and on these videos is Edward Whitney, who I believe is a head of We the People, who has very carefully watched judges and their violation of your rights, and who knows a lot about what is going on and is doing something about it. So we have very good material coming up for you. I wish I hadn't lost my jokes. In all this evil, the good stuff gets lost, but we're not going to let that defeat us. I'll take the jokes from the original list. The woman says to the taxi cab driver, "Cabby, could you back up a little bit?" And he said, "Why?" And she says, "I don't have enough money to pay for this." And the father said to his son, "I don't care if our basement wall has a crack in it. I don't want you telling anybody anymore that you come from a broken home." And you've heard about the gardener's exercise program. You start out fresh as a daisy and you end up bushed. And the woman said to the man who ran the flower and bushes and shrub nursery, "Do these seeds grow fast?" And the man says, "I'll say, when you pop them in the ground, jump back." And you heard about the Maine farmer who had company You know, in Maine, down Maine, you don't go in the front door. Nobody ever uses the front door. You go in through the kitchen. And so they were standing around in the kitchen and there weren't enough chairs. And one of them got up enough courage to say, "It appears you don't have enough chairs." And he said, "And yeah, plenty of chairs, just too much company." You remember when kids used to dress up in ridiculous costumes and go to masquerade parties? Now they dress up in ridiculous costumes and go to school. Let's see, I thought there were a couple of others for you. I had them all on a list for you so we could do these smoothly. Yeah, the new father, nervous new father, he said to the man next to him, "Here, have a cigar." The man next to him says, "Oh, congratulations. Is it a boy or a girl?" And the man says, "I don't know one cigar from another." And you heard about the Italian couple who had twins, a boy and a girl, and they gave Uncle Giuseppe the honor of naming the twins. What did you name the girl? Denise. Oh, it's very pretty. What did you name the boy? The nephew. And what is the average age of a policeman? 37? They like to get them fresh out of high school. And Marilyn told her husband she wanted a more expensive apartment, and she got it. The landlord raised the rent. And the little old lady said to the airlines agent, "How long does it take to fly to Buffalo?" And the airlines agent on the phone says, "Just a minute." And the little old lady says, "That's great. It took 40 minutes last time." How do you make the judge laugh on Monday? You tell him a joke on Friday. And Annette is not very bright. She thinks that Gatorade is welfare for crocodiles. This is Glendora, Cheerful Look at Life. And we want you to be happy. Let me see if I can find in our devotions for tomorrow, September 23rd, a nice verse for pure thoughts. Then the Lord spoke to Aaron, this is Leviticus 10, saying, "Do not drink wine or intoxicating drink. You, nor your sons with you, when you go into the tabernacle of meeting, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation." That's one statute I follow. I have never drunk intoxicating drink, except one time. And I got sick, so I never drank it again. That was at my senior prom. So don't you do that, folks, okay? Do not drink wine or intoxicating drink. In fact, Franklin's mother wouldn't even drink soda pop. She took a pledge in Sunday school she wouldn't drink soda pop. I don't drink soda pop either. I think the only fit thing to drink is water or fruit juice. Okie doke. Call me and tell me your progress on counting pure thoughts and on counting blessings and for praying for your enemies. And for the alone time that you spend with God. Breathe on them breath of God until their hearts are pure, until their will is one with thine, to do and to endure.
You see, folks, it's overcast today. And it's a long sleeve weather day for me, so she's sort of in her winter autumnal equinox wrap. Two fellows made a pact that the first one who died and went to heaven would come back and tell the other one if they had baseball in heaven. Mac died first. Then he came back and he says, Fred, they have baseball in heaven. Fred says, hallelujah. Baseball in heaven. And Mac says, but I got bad news too. Fred says, no, you have to have bad news. What's the bad news? And Mac said, you're pitching Friday night.
So now more to the serious things here. I'm going to read this quote here from Dean A. Alfanch. And it says, it is my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter incentive for a dole. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the stale calm of utopia. I will not trade freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to think and act for myself, enjoy the benefit of my creations, and to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. Now, this is something that we should take to heart, these kind of lessons here, you know. The individuality in America has disappeared before our eyes. We let the expert decide for us, you know. We have court cases, we say, Your Honor, you know, indicating the wisdom of the powers that be to decide for us what is right and what is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So we have decided to talk about the judicial system here this evening.
Excuse me, Arnie, I heard an interesting definition of expert.
Oh?
X is a has-been and a spurt is a drip under pressure. So.
Oh boy. Oh,
maybe
boy.
don't necessarily want to be considered an expert, right?
Well, I hope that we can put the judicial system under that pressure by what we do and say here.
Yep.
We want you, America, to wake up to the irrefutable truth that our country is being swindled out from underneath us as we watch by the powers that be in the Council of Foreign Relations, the Trilateralists, the Bilderbergs, and in general the New World Order, and certainly the bankers. You know, I give an example like this here. You know, suppose you have a house. You have a nice backyard. You know, you have nice things around your house and everything. You go to work, you come home in your SUV or whatever, and then one day, a couple of your bushes in your backyard. You pay your taxes and everything is okay. You pay your mortgage, and a couple of bushes in your yard is missing. You don't say anything. The next day, your flower beds are gone.